No, I understand, man. I mean, he saw me. He saw how sick I was.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's doubting that you don't feel well, but he also, asked you to be communicative so he could just get updates to see how you were doing. I mean, he's not your mother, but he's concerned about you. I mean, he's an amazing senior NCO, and I think a great person, and I'm just wondering, what the disconnect is, because it seems like, it doesn't make sense to, blow him off like that. I'm just wondering what's going on. Is it that you guys have differences, or you don't like him or something?
I just wonder. I wonder why I'm being asked this question.
I'm genuinely curious.
Yeah, I'm just out of words to say. Like I said, I mean, after I saw Sergeant Ewell's last message and call, I touched base with him. Then I saw yours, and I figured, I was like, you know what, Sergeant Ewell is gonna update you all, and I don't want to follow up with you right after the phone call with Sergeant Ewell, because I just didn't want to stay on the phone long.
Okay, I mean, I can understand that, but none of us is your supervisor either.
No, I'm aware, man. I know.
Okay, well, I understand that, but
no.
He's your supervisor, and if you have something that you don't want to talk to him, or you're not comfortable talking to him, let him know why at least. I mean, because at least that'll give him an opportunity to see if it's something that he needs to improve.
No, I understand.
Not communicating at all really isn't acceptable either, because he's concerned that there's a problem, that you have a problem. I was getting ready to go over to your house just to make sure that you were okay, because none of us got any information at all for hours. So,
Yeah, I understand.
And it's nobody's I don't think anybody's concerned that you're going to do something rash, delete yourself or something. It's not about that. It's just that when someone, when your supervisor or senior NCO tells you hey, it's fine if you go home, just check back in with you, let him know how you're doing, and you don't get back to him at all, he's naturally going to be concerned. Did he get a lot worse? Did he slip and fall? Did he pass out and hit his head and die? And I know that may sound extreme, but it's legitimately there's no logical reason that somebody as smart and typically responsible as you are would just blow off something like that from your supervisor, and who's a great person and a senior NCO. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, I see your point of view. You're right.
So, and I'm coming at this as your friend. I want to figure out how to help alleviate this, because it's not it's not a good look. You have to understand that, right? If the commander told Sergeant Green hey, give me a call this afternoon around 4, or when you get home or something, if you're leaving, and he just was blew it off, what do you think that's going to do?
Right.
It's not different just because he's not the commander. He's still your supervisor, and more than the commander, because I don't think the commander even knows. Major Curl's the commander now, and he might know a little bit about us, but they're so far away, they don't have any idea of Sergeant Green works with you on a regular basis, and he's talks to you, I imagine, all the time. I haven't talked to you guys in 6 weeks because I've been out in class, but I'm not mad. I'm just concerned, and I think he's the same way. It's if there's an issue between you and him, if there's something that he's done or not done, then he'd like to know about it, just so that he can help understand the dynamic, I guess, and to maybe improve himself as a leader and a senior NCO. And then if it's something that he, if there isn't something that he did, he's just concerned that there's something else going on that he's not aware of, and he needs to be able to be prepared for whatever. I mean, we're a family. Families help each other,
Right. I'll send him a Slack message soon, and just explain the situation briefly.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I mean, nobody's asking for a novel. Just a hey, everything is good, still feeling crappy, would be enough probably, just so that you would know, because that's a response. If he's saying like, just hit me back up and let me know how you're doing, it could be as simple as sending a text or a Slack message saying like, hey sir, just checking back in. I'm still feeling like crap. It takes 30 seconds, you know what I mean, and it totally changes the calculus on everything that's going on. None of this conversation, none of the concern happens because of a 30-second text or something. So the reason why everybody was reaching out to you is because he asked the senior NCOs, who's like, hey, and the leadership in the flight, he's like, hey, have anybody heard from our body? I know he went home sick, and I'm concerned because he hasn't got back with me. So it was legitimately, all of this started because you didn't send a text or a message or anything coming back, just saying like, hey, still feeling crappy, whatever, like he asked you to.
Right.
I don't know if that makes sense, man. I mean, you're a grown man, and I know that it probably doesn't feel like you're being treated like a grown man, but grown men have responsibilities too, and one of those is to respond to requests for information.
Right.
Does that make sense? I mean, I don't want you to. I'm not trying to browbeat you or talk down to you. I'm concerned for you as a friend more than anything, honestly, because like, you're not my subordinate. I'm not a flight chief or somebody that affects your evaluations at all. I just, these are the kinds of things that are completely within your control that affect the way people see you.
Right.
You have to take control of the things you can take control of, and this is one of them. So I know you didn't want to be on the phone with everybody for all night, but you could take 5 minutes to text whoever else reached out to you, text or Slack, and say like, hey, I'm good. Hey, everything's fine. No big deal. I'm good. Sorry for, thanks for reaching out. And all of this is gone with no drama whatsoever.
Right.
And another thing is, you can't count on somebody else to do what you've been asked to do. Like, I know you have done, you reached out to UL, reached back to UL, but like, UL was not the first person to ask, I'm sure. Was he? Like, Sergeant Green told you that he wanted you to hit it back up when you were leaving, right?
Yeah. I think he said,
So that's the first person that you should have gotten back to, right? Because he's the first person that reached out.
Right.
And then UL never even contacts you, so
he never what?
He never would have, because Sergeant Green would have known, because he would have reached back out to you first. You know what I mean? So
Sergeant UL never updated you all?
Eventually, yeah, he did.
Oh, okay.
But that's the thing. Sergeant Green's like, I asked him to talk to me about it first. I mean, UL reached out to you after Sergeant Green was like, has anybody heard from her body?
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So UL wouldn't have even been in the calculus if you had just responded to the first question. So just control what you can control, man. I'm not mad at you. Like I said, I love you as a brother, and I consider you a friend, and I want to see you succeed. And it's little things like this that I think can hold you back, because when it comes to discussion of like moving you to the next level, people are gonna be like, well, yeah, I mean, he's a pretty good worker and he's good with people, but he's not always responsive when you try to reach out to him. Sometimes he just disappears and nobody knows what's going on. And that's in nobody else's control but yours.
Right.
So, but and when I see you yesterday, like, I do miss you. I wish we could, I would like to, and I'm willing to make the effort to, like, for us to sit down and maybe have some food and talk about God and talk about life and what's going on,
Yeah, thank you.
So just let me know what works for you and we'll try to work it out, okay?
Sounds good. Thank you, Sergeant Hale.
No worries, man. I'm just, I'm a concerned citizen here, basically.
Right. I guess I'll maybe I should call him afterwards after this call.
Yeah, he's at work right now, even though he's on leave. I tried to tell him to go home, he wouldn't listen. So
Oh, he's at work.
yeah. So do you have his number? Do you have his work number?
Yeah.
Yeah. So hit him up there. I'm sure he'll appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Is there anything you need that I can do?
What does the word ruckus mean?
Ruckus?
Yeah.
It means like folder.
Oh, so it started a ruckus yesterday, not reaching back to him.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it wasn't really. I wouldn't say it's a ruckus. It was like, demand.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Legit, maybe. Like, not folder, not to that point where there's chaos. Just, yeah, demand.
Okay, I'll I'll call back and try to apologize and follow up.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot to smooth over. Just say, like, I realized that you were the first person to tell me to ask me to reach back to you, and you should have been the first person I reached back to. I'll make sure that I'm more communicative in the future if there's a concern, right? Because like if you just leave work and you're not taking leave, technically you're on duty still, but he's giving you a pass so that you can go feel better. That's a courtesy to you. So the counter courtesy is providing him with information so that he can justify that. You know what I mean?
Right.
If you say something like that, I'm sure he'll understand and he'll be appreciative of the call.
To say it how?
Just say, I understand that you gave me a pass because I was feeling sick, and that's a courtesy to me, and I didn't have to take leave, and and I should have returned that courtesy with the courtesy of communication, which is all you asked of me, and I'm sorry that I didn't reach out to you first, and I'll do better in the future to make sure that when someone asks, like when I'm asked to do something by someone, then I'll do it instead of not communicating and then having it be something that causes other people to have to get involved.
Yeah, that's okay. Great. That's a great way of expressing it. Thanks for that. I'll try to put that in my own words.
Yeah.
Because I don't. It's like in my.
Concern.
Yeah.
That's the only concern. It's not that you're ditching work to go play poker somewhere or anything like that. It's just like, hey man, I just really want to know that you're okay because you didn't seem like you're doing well, and I'm glad you're getting meds. So.
Right.
But yeah, give him a holler. I'm about to head back into the building, so.
Okay, and yeah, thanks again, Sergeant Halo. I appreciate that.
Sure. Absolutely.
And I didn't realize. I just didn't realize the effect just being out of it mentally was going to have on the whole situation.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you may not feel like having a long conversation, but you can send a text or a Slack. A few words goes a long ways. So
right.
just touching base. It doesn't have to be a drawn out conversation. But if you don't touch base, then it becomes a drawn out conversation about not touching base, not being communicative. You know what I mean?
Right.
It becomes a different issue, and I know that's not your intent. I know that's not something that you wanted. So now just if you come forward and say, like, I understand I wasn't communicative, and I'm going to make sure that I'm improving that, and I'll provide. I want to be somebody that you know where I'm at, and if I have concerns, then I'll bring them up. That kind of stuff. And
right.
And if that's a safe zone, right? Like that makes it you're a safe bet. Like Sergeant Body's going to let me know if he has problems, right? And that, or if I ask him for something, I know he's going to respond because I can trust that he's going to do that. That's all it is. It's just making sure that there's a known trust factor there that can happen. You know what I mean?
Right.
So anyway, I'll let you go. Let you make the call. I would like to catch up sometime soon. What's your weekend looking like?
I'm just gonna be resting up, but I'm gonna be out throughout the week and Labor Day weekend.
Okay.
I put in leave.
Okay.
Um,
Where are you going?
just back home. Nothing special. My brother. It's difficult for him to get leave from work.
Arizona?
Yeah, so he got leave, and it just fortunately, I think he even had to put it in a couple of months in advance,
Wow.
and like a month or two in advance. It's kind of hard for him to get leave,
Yeah.
and it just so happened to line up with Labor Day weekend.
Very cool. That's great, man.
So, I'm gonna go see and then it's another brother's birthday around that time too.
Very cool.
So I'm gonna hopefully get a lot of sun. I usually feel better when I get a lot of sun.
Oh yeah, man. Being outside is healing.
Very healing, especially because I grew up in Arizona, not like other folks who grew up in cold states.
Right, right.
So like my body and my brain is used to the sun.
Yeah, and the warmth, yeah.
The warmth, and it usually helps me sleep better, and
It's great.
as long as I stay hydrated, I start to heal and I feel better and I usually sleep better.
Yeah.
I just love it, man. I miss the sun.
Yeah. I hear you.
But Sergeant Green, did you hear what I just called you?
Yeah, it's fine.
Man, I'm just out of it. But now that you explained to me the perspective, like
Yeah.
now I see from another point of view. Like, see, in my mind, I was like, yeah, I just updated Sergeant UL. We're all good. Let me try to sleep now. But then after you explained it from your point of view, I could see now why some people would be concerned and maybe a little upset.
Yeah, I mean, Sergeant Green's just concerned that there's something he did that's really, and if there is, he's trusting that you would tell him what that is. You know what I mean? So
yeah, of course.
that's all it is. Because it's like if you tried calling me a bunch of times and then I just didn't answer the phone, right? You're probably not gonna think, well, he's just busy. You're gonna be like, man, why is he not answering my calls and get back to me? I called him and he's just giving me the cold shoulder. That's human. It's natural, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of where he's at. It's just a human condition. So,
Right.
just kind of think of it. If you try to think about how it happened to you, sort of deal. So anyway, enough of preaching. I wanted to reach out, make sure you're good, man. I'm glad to hear you're getting some medication, get some rest. Sounds like you get some leave. That's good. But yeah, just hit him up. Just hit him up, and I'm sure it'll be fine.
I'm gonna follow up with him, then briefly share with him what you taught me, and I'll explain to him that now I see from how those little actions of mine translate into the big scenarios they have in their minds.
Yeah.
And I'll explain to him that you've explained to me from your point of view, and I'll apologize and be like, thanks for the courtesy, and my bad for not following up with you. I'll just explain all that to him and own up to it. I'll apologize.
Okay, no worries, man. Sounds good. I'll talk to you later, brother. Love you, man.
Love you too, man. God bless you, Sergeant Hill. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.